Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there. Welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. This was our Patreon exclusive yesterday. Urgent alert, timeline shift, what you need to know. Again, we thank everybody for their support over on Patreon. Exclusives going up there multiple times, pretty much every single week. I'm going to be working on another Patreon exclusive after we get this one up. So we just wanted to share that with you guys. You could join us over there for, again, as little as $1 a month. There are different tiers with different benefits. And I would say there's an awful lot of things to be aware of in this timeline. Again, April 2025, regardless how it ends up manifesting, I still feel this is like the key month. Not just for all of 2025, but really this is a pivotal month for, it feels like, the future timeline.
Well, energetically too, the people that we talk to, they're feeling it as well. So they're picking up on a lot of things that we're picking up on. And I find that very, very interesting when I see the waves of energy come through more like the masses. So, it speaks to the soul stream and how we're all in this soul stream together, and some a little closer together and some not. It's very interesting this month.
Yes, and we've had a lot of extreme weather, a lot of extreme earth change type of events. Be aware that there is a very high risk, 5 out of 5 level of severe weather across parts of the lower Mississippi Valley into the Mid-South and also into the lower Ohio Valley. Major tornado outbreak is expected over the region, which could spawn multiple EF3 tornadoes or higher on Wednesday, April 2nd. So when you look at this and they're telling us, because the way it's gone lately is that they'll say there's a moderate or maybe even a slight chance, and then we get blasted. So here they're saying this is a level 5 out of 5. So be aware if you're in these areas. You see the center of the bullseye is between Jonesboro, Cape Girardeau, heading over into the Bowling Green area, Nashville. Just be aware. It could be a real rough one. And the potential for historic rainfall and flooding, I think, again, after we watched what happened in western North Carolina, eastern Tennessee, and also in South Carolina and Georgia that were affected by that insane rainfall, associated with the hurricane that had passed, I think a lot of people will really take note now more than ever. So you can see that band there in that purplish color, and then also in the red. This is a real big area that may have historic rainfall. I've seen estimates of 8 inches or more in a short amount of time, and even 10 to 15 inches in some spots. This can be absolutely disastrous. So, while people are calling out on the cloud cover that seems to never go away in these times, those grid patterns, and the fact that, it's become completely declassified, with many people realizing that it's literally it's a military operation, what's been going on with the seeding of the clouds.
Mm-hmm. It is, and that's something that, we've seen in the past we really need to keep an eye on. So we're sending as much energy and prayer to this area as possible, helping anyone and everyone who needs to do a certain thing. Hopefully they're at their highest and best self, so they're able to make those decisions in a higher realm for themselves and their families. So please send that energy out to them. This is scary because of what we have seen in the past.
Yeah, and the flash flood threat, they say, is only the beginning of a multi-day catastrophic and potentially historic event. This is not what we need. And the question is, why are they making the tic-tac-toe patterns when we're having this type of occurrence on a far more, it's all the time. It's not even like, again, we've talked about this being historic level, once in 100-year floods that happen, it seems, somewhere every single day now.
Well, and we've seen these odd patterns lately. Not too long ago, we've seen, I mean, to me, I could be wrong. I don't know what they are, but they appeared to look like lasers, down there in that area. And who's to say that this hasn't done something very strange to the weather? I just couldn't tell you what.
Absolutely. So, send prayers, send your positive intentions, and keep waking people up, because, the quicker we wake up the masses, the quicker we could have some real positive change. Meanwhile, gold hit record highs. Again, the economic situation, there's so much going on. The catastrophic weather events, the economic collapse that seems to be in the cards for 2025. And then, of course, the potential for WW3 going to an all-new level. It's all coming together at the same time. There was reports of a single purchase of incredible tonnage of gold that would have been mind-boggling. I didn't see it. I saw several people verify it for themselves, but absolutely nothing in the headlines about it. But will we go on to some sort of gold standard, be it tied to some sort of electronic digital currency or not? This is very, very curious times, and more curious. We were up in the middle of the night and we saw this. An air traffic controller at Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport, Damon Gaines, 39, from Upper Marlboro, Maryland, faces assault and battery charges after a fight in the control tower last Thursday. Altercation left blood on the control panel, linked by a source to stress from the January 29th crash. In fact, for a while there, planes were halted from coming and going. So very, very curious. And then you have people noticing military operations, possibly. This from Florida Skywatchers, a Boeing P-8 Poseidon Navy anti-submarine craft flying low, and also a lot of curious traffic patterns going on. Very, very tense situation. China's doing more military exercises encircling Taiwan again. And then you have those 4 American soldiers that took place the end of March in Lithuania that went missing. Well, they found 3 bodies in basically a bog. And the 4th they didn't find. But when you look down further, this is interesting because there was a 27-year-old American citizen who tried to sneak into the territory of Belarus from Lithuania, the area where we're talking about this occurrence. So, I mean, was this the 4th soldier, and was he trying to defect? What was going on here? It seems that their equipment sank in a bog, and 3 of the soldiers didn't make it, and this was again with war games going on. And, by the way, Germany deployed troops on Russia's doorstep, first time since World War II. Where? In Lithuania, that same tiny little country that is, it's smaller than most American states, if not all American states, pretty much. Maybe Delaware and Rhode Island are bigger, are smaller than it. But meanwhile, you have Russia and China sign further agreements on cooperation militarily. It's just interesting to note all this going on at the same time. And then Christoph, again, clear seeing is only English translations. You have to read it, as Christoph is a Polish psychic. This is his big channel. Clear seeing takes snippets and puts them in English captions, but you can caption everything yourself too on Christoph's official channel. And what is he seeing? Well, one thing he saw was that there's going to be 2 more quakes. He did get the previous quakes very, very accurately. And again, he is somebody that's been employed by the police to find missing people. So, you'll get some people that will poo-poo psychics because, maybe they're on too much medication, maybe they're on too much junk food, and they have no intuition themselves. But, again, it's all about developing our abilities. And we know people that have, taken themselves off of very, very toxic substances, picked themselves up, dusted themselves off, and are very, very, let's just say they're really progressing amazingly spiritually and also physically. They're just correcting all the imbalances that existed in their lives and going to all new levels. And they are some of the most supportive people that we've ever encountered, and also just so abundantly supporting the side of light and human potential instead of just crying about things. We can bring about change. We have to be aware of everything. Again, it's just like navigating. If you see there's an accident down the road, and you just slow down, get ready to maybe take a detour. It's the same thing what we have going on right now. We have multiple things coming together at the same time. This is going to be one of the most challenging times in our history. I've been saying it for a long time. I do feel that the period between now and maybe 4th of July, summer solstice, will be some of the most challenging times that we're going to come across. So navigating it with keeping our frequency high, being aware of the difficulties, but not giving into fear. Instead, just simply prepare. And of course, that does mean, I'd say stronger than ever, the spiritual component, because again, we are already eternal beings, just having a temporary experience as humans. So we can tap into abilities that might seem paranormal or, superhuman, but no, that's just part of our normal potential. Our potential is far beyond what the science has told us, because again, they don't want us taking control of the narrative. They don't want us changing things. They want the same old status quo, which is them in charge and humanity in the dark. And that's changing. Meanwhile, he sees there's going to be another big quake, and then he says there might be a little bit of time that passes, and then there's going to be a mega quake that is centered around the ocean or on the ocean, and will literally perhaps leave a big portion of an island underwater. And when he was saying this, boy, it sounded like those famous old Casey predictions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's something that he's picking up really strong, and he does have a history of being able to call certain things. So when I went into the energy field to feel what he was feeling before I had finished listening to him, I picked up two events, and that makes me feel like probably other people are also feeling these events, that they're not very far away, and they could very well show themselves on our timeline, literally on our timeline, because that's what we pick up when we look out into the future. There's these timelines, and you're picking up the most likely one that's going to come into the solid 3D form. That's the best way I can explain it. And when I went into his energy field, that's what I felt.
Yeah, so he's seeing something that would be the biggest quake we have seen in our times, potentially. It sounds like he's seeing something that's 9 or higher, and very, very devastating. The other thing he is picking up on is the Iran situation and the potential for the war to break out into a new phase, with, if there is a strike on Iran, because obviously Iran, China, and Russia, they're militarily aligned. So in a strike on Iran, because of its potential nuclear capabilities, is real insanity, when Israel's had that for decades and decades and decades, and Iran hasn't invaded anybody. They had a war with Iraq that was back in the 80s and 90s, I believe, and I could be wrong on the time frame there, but I do remember it. It was pre the first invasion of Iraq, and yet They haven't invaded anybody else, so, and of course, we're all aware of the quote unquote terrorist groups because everybody labels the other side a terrorist. This is just what they do. It's part of their spin. And the reality is, it's not the elite kids typically that are going off and doing this. No. It's, as we know, it's part of the military-industrial complex, which makes tremendous money off of death and destruction. So Turkey denounces opposition calls for a day of no shopping. Interesting too, because he was picking up on a currency which is called the lira. Italy has a lira. Turkey has a lira. A couple other countries use lira, which really originally comes from the Latin term as their currency. But he was picking up on a massive collapse of a currency, which was going to cause problems. It certainly could be Turkey. Absolutely. Turkey is the second largest military in NATO after the U.S. It is one of the top 10 militaries in the world. And there you have new internal FBI chat logs show the FBI imposed a gag order about, of course, the Hunter Biden laptop. Because, again, the realization that humanity is coming to is that, it's been organized crime at the highest level that has run this world. It is organized crime. All these different alphabet soups, they're legalized organized crime. It's nothing really much different than the mafia or any sort of MS-13 or whatever you want to look at in any country as far as that organized crime component that makes money off of death, destruction, illegal substances. Unfortunately, it's in our government and all major governments.
Well, one thing they definitely do not like is competition. So if they see someone doing the things that they like to do, they'll just reach over and put their arm around them and pay them some money so that they get their own kickbacks. So they do all literally work together in some way, shape, or form. And this rooster is just, well, he's strutting his stuff.
He sure is. The ministry of silly walks. We do need more silliness in this world as we navigate through all the chaos again. Perhaps the next 2-3 months might be the toughest part of it. So again, just be prepared. Have that daily meditative practice, mind, body, breath practice. Use your consciousness to help others and keep raising the frequency of the planet.
Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.